Greetings and Hotep. Welcome to my show. We have a special treat for you. We will be viewing a videotape of my good friend and colleague, the chairwoman of the board herself, Comrade Abini. So without further ado, here she is.
Too often we think of our history as episodes, disconnected eras that do not impact one another. But episodes are like the surf waves you see in oceans. They are spikes in the ocean. Big spikes, tsunamis, are big changes in the ocean, but the ocean is always the main factor in the process. The ocean is the engender of the spike, not the other way around. So if you want to understand the whole thing, you have to study the ocean, not the spikes. The history of the world is similar. There is the continuous flow of history, and there are these high points, such as our post-World War II anti-colonial struggle. But that struggle is only a part of our history, it is not our whole history. To understand things affecting us, we have to study history and not just an aspect, no matter how critical, of our history. We want to avoid thinking of history as events and individuals, and see it more as our organic composite experience that ebbs and flows between the negative, or bad poles, and the positive, or good poles. I want to give you an example of the proper way to interpret history. In the book, Challenge of the Congo, written by the great pan-africanist leader Kwame Nkrumah, he documents how the enemy placed indigenous criminals among the peoples of the Congo, to create mayhem and chaos. They did this by means of brutal murders and other such crimes against humanity. This tactic is used to keep the people from getting organized, so that they, our enemies, can rob and loot the people, and the continent as a whole. This was employed over and over again, time and time again, all over the world. Not only in Africa, you also will see it in the oppression and exploitation of the native people of the Western Hemisphere, where in the United States, for example, turncoat indigenous individuals were used as scouts and police. They use the same tactic today all over the world, creating, training, and funding criminal groups from amongst the people to kill men, women and children of the targeted areas, thereby generally disrupting and disorienting the society. Of course the enemy reaps trillions of dollars from these tactics, which facilitate their criminal, inhuman exploitation of most of the world and per people. Brothers and sisters, we must get wise to this old barbaric tactic. Today, this process is generally known as neo-colonialism. Kwame Nkrumah spent a great deal of his last years warning of this evil system, neo-colonialism, which he identified as the last stage of general imperialism. We must educate ourselves, so that we can properly identify the elements among us who are the henchmen and women of our enemies, and root them out completely. Once we have done that, the real enemy, those who pull the strings of the neo-colonialist puppets, will be exposed. Then, the righteous and just anger of the people will be translated into intelligent plans and actions designed to rid us of our enemies. The Children's Ad Hoc Committee for Union Government urges all of you to join us in this noble crusade for liberation and freedom. The luta continueth. Africa must unite.
Isn't she wonderful? Thanks for watching our show.